Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Carrie Kenner and welcome. I am so glad that you are here for the Doula Success Formula, 5 simple steps to getting hired more often. Um, I am going to tell you a few little housekeeping things before we begin. The first one is that my nervous system does not do well with presenting and watching a chat. So I'm not going to be paying attention to the chat. So please don't post questions or anything important in the chat because I won't be looking at it during my presentation. What I'm going to ask you to do instead is to, if you have questions, write them down. And then after the presentation, we'll have a live Q&A session. You can raise your hand at that time. I'll show you how if you don't know how already. And I'll take questions that way. You could also, after the presentation has ended, you can write your questions in chat because then I'll be able to take a look at them. I also have my co-host Nikki here. She will be monitoring the chat. So if you do have any technical problems that are happening or there's just anything that's not going right for you, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. Nikki will be monitoring that. She'll let me know if there's any problems that I desperately need to be aware of. But I know that a lot of webinar hosts really like you to be active in the chat. By all means, you can post your name and where you're from and any comments that you have, because I will save the chat and check it out afterwards. So that's my uh, little public service announcement about the chat. So I am going to be spending about the next 30-40 minutes with a slide presentation that I'll be narrating. I'll be talking with you about what you're seeing. So that's what we're going to spend the next part of this webinar on. And then I'm going to open it up to your questions and answers. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. The Doula Success Formula is about having as many of the right clients as you want. So a lot of doulas are just starting out and they don't know how to get clients, or they have a few clients here and there, but the work isn't steady and they're not satisfied, or they have lots of clients, but they don't enjoy them, so they're not so happy. The thing is, you're only going to feel successful in your work when you have as many of the right clients as you want. Clients give us the experience, the income, and the freedom to live the doula lifestyle that is the hallmark of a successful doula. So I'm giving away this formula for how to create that kind of success. Have as many clients as you want and have them be the right clients. This webinar is for you if you are thinking about being a doula and curious how to get clients once you're trained, or you're just starting out and you want to be more confident in how you do your consultations. Or you're a doula who's out there getting clients, but you're not getting hired enough times. Or you're an experienced doula and you want to improve your conversion rate. No matter where you're at, you want it to be as foolproof, fun, and rewarding as possible. Now, this webinar is not for you if you think that you can be the best doula for every single person who's out there, or you don't think doulas should get paid for their services, or you're so repulsed by marketing or sales that you don't even want to learn how to do it ethically, unless you're open to a shift in mindset, because, hey, we can all change. And in fact, later in this webinar, I'm going to tell you a story about how my thinking changed big time. My whole mission is about getting more doulas out in the world. Why? Because I saw this study in 2012. In 2012, doulas weren't nearly as popular as they are now. But even then, you can look at these numbers and see the demand for doulas. Only 6% of birthing people used a doula, but 27% wished they'd used one. So that tells us that there's a tremendous gap. So let's get busy. Now, just about everybody has heard of a doula today, and the studies on how doulas improve birth are remarkable. The truth is, there's a huge demand for doulas. We just need to know how to tap into it. I've supported over 1,500 families in my career, and you can do that too. Now, nobody starts out with big numbers, but if you stick with it and learn some of these techniques, you can start building your career. So why should you listen to me? I started my birth business, Big Belly Services, over 20 years ago. I taught over 1,000 families as a childbirth educator. I've attended more than 350 births as a doula. In 2004, I became a DONA-approved doula trainer, and I've trained over 2,000 doulas. I ran my own training through Big Belly Services, and I've taught at colleges, universities, and communities around the country, and as a federally approved trainer for military dependents. I've had consistent 5-star rating all that time. And I've invested thousands of hours and tens of thousands of dollars in my own continuing education to bring more information to my students. Now, I didn't actually learn the skill of getting clients until 12 years after I'd been a successful doula. Now, that might be confusing because how was I successful if I didn't know this stuff? Well, when I started out, I was easily getting as many clients as I wanted because of other more happenstance things. First, I was already experienced supporting birth when I started. Second, I lucked into a built-in referral stream from my midwives. And third, I quickly built up good word of mouth in my community. In my first year, I had enough referrals and got hired 3 out of 4 times to fill my calendar. Few doulas have such luck when they're starting out. Then I lucked out even more into becoming a doula trainer. And my tenacity and desire drove me to create my own signature 42-hour doula training and advanced doula courses. It wasn't until trying to grow my business in a different way, coaching doulas to start and grow their own businesses, that I realized how much luck had been a factor and that I would need more than luck in my new endeavor. So I joined a coaching group for women entrepreneurs. My coach, Sage, taught me to listen to what people around me were asking for. And I noticed that just about every week, a doula was asking for help launching their doula business. So that's how my flagship doula program, Jumpstart Your Doula Career, was born. Sage taught me how to do sales in a heart-centered way using her GROW model. But I didn't think it would work for doulas because people in the birth professions always think that we're so unique and different that most business models don't apply to us. So I didn't use it initially, and conversions were low. When I complained about this, Sage asked if I was using the GROW model. Well, no, I replied, it doesn't really apply to my program. Doulas are different. No, they aren't, she countered. Doulas are potential customers for a group program just like anyone else. Try it. So I did. I applied Sage's model to my consultations, and the results were phenomenal. I learned the words, phrases, and scripts to turn a conversation into a client. My conversion rate went from 20% to 80%. Learning how to get clients using a formula was a critical turning point in my professional life. Now, enlisting in Sage's program was a huge investment I made in myself and my business, but it paid off. My first launch brought in $10,000 in revenue and paid off the entire cost of her program. But when I tried to teach the GROW model to doulas, I realized that it did need to be revised. Trying to convert an expectant parent to hire a doula was very different from trying to get someone to enroll in a group coaching program. So that's what you're going to see here. Of all the things I've learned how to do, knowing how to get clients was the one that changed my life the most. This one skill gave me the biggest boost to my income, the most confidence, the most freedom, and the foundation I can use in any business. So now I've come full circle to bring all that experience back to my beloved doulas. Here's what you're going to learn in this webinar. The steps of the Doula Success Formula, the one mindset shift you must make. You're going to see highlight reels from some actual consultations using the 4 steps in the Doula Success Formula. And you'll learn about qualifying clients and differentiating yourself. This is going to help you figure out who are your right clients and how to elevate your doula business. And if you like what you learned today and you want to learn more about how to grow your business or get started as a doula, I'm going to tell you about my doula business coaching program at the end. It's on sale for a short time, and I want you to get in on the discount. So I'm going to be showing you 3 client consultations that demonstrate the 4 skills of the Doula Success Formula in action. The recordings have been edited for length and to focus on just one of the doula skill formulas that we're going to use. So you're going to only see a snippet from each consultation, highlighting one or two steps of the consultation process. But if you'd like to see all 4 steps in each consultation, Nikki is going to put a link in the chat so you can see the longer highlight reels. They're on my website, so you can go look at the highlights from each of these consultations so you can see all 4 steps in the process. Now, this first clip is with a potential doula client. Later, you'll see a clip with someone who's wanting to become a doula, and then one of a former doula student who wants to grow their business. So let's get started. In this first clip, Alice and Trevor are a couple expecting their first baby. They were referred to me by past client, looking at my website, and scheduled a consultation online. In this demo, you're going to see step 1, listening for the cues of what the client wants. And you may hear me reference things we discussed in other parts of the consultation, but that were cut out for brevity. Now, also notice the questions I ask, how I use their words as I go, and how to keep digging deeper to uncover what matters most to them. All right. So I'm going to start with you, Alice. What are your top 3 goals for your birth? What would you like it to be like?
The first, I think, is that I really am hoping to have a comfortable birth and experience. I'm a little worried about kind of pain management and what that would be like, but I'm also hoping to have an emotionally comfortable experience. I have also done a little bit of research about the doula experience, but I don't really know what to expect.
Yeah. And I mean, those things sound nice, but I don't want to assume why those are important to you. So tell me more about the emotional comfort and why that's so important to you.
I think that there's a little bit of fear surrounding birth for me, but I also really want to be able to look back on the experience of the birth as a positive thing, rather than just kind of the result of it.
Mm-hmm. So if you could imagine a year from now, you've given birth, you've had your baby's however many months old, and when you look back on your birth, what would you like that to look like, or how would you like to think about it a year from now? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I would answer that question.
Okay. Can you imagine a feeling or an emotion that you would have about your birth experience?
Obviously, I think you would want it to be a happy experience. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be remembering the more painful or fearful aspects of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. Thank you. And what about you, Trevor? Is there anything that you are particularly hoping for to happen or not happen in this birth? And maybe something about like what you want your role to be like?
I think mostly I worry about Alice's voice not being heard by our care provider during the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really love to be supportive during it and to be able to provide the support that she needs and not to be overcrowding in the experience, to make sure she has the space she needs as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there any particular reason that is important to you that
I think I've heard a couple horror stories of women in labor not having their choices heard or respected by the care providers, and I think that's my biggest worry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So kind of that same question that I was asking Alice, if you look back a year from now, how would you like to be able to look back on the birth and what would you like to feel about it, or think about it, or feel about it? Like if you were to fill in the blank, looking back on our birth, it was really, empowering, or we were calm, or we're proud, like anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I definitely want it to be something that we feel proud of. I definitely want it to be something that we look back on and we enjoy and we get nourishment from that. And I don't want it to be an experience where we don't want to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you've just seen the very start of the process, and it's time to mention one important thing. The one mindset shift you need to make so this process will work. Don't assume anything. I didn't assume to know anything about what Alice and Trevor wanted. Don't assume you know what all birthing people want. Don't assume you know what all partners want. Don't assume all doulas do the same things. Instead, find out with these particular clients. The best doulas are those who know how to ask really good questions and listen deeply. You'll find out everything you need to know about your clients when you ask them. Only then can you start to offer solutions that align with their needs. Now, there are lots of mistakes you can make when you start your business, and here's a couple of the big ones. Number one, you think you have to take every client that comes your way. Number two, you think all doulas do the same thing. And number three, you're afraid of marketing, sales, and money. Let's fix these three mistakes off the bat. Number one, you think you have to take every client that comes your way. You've probably heard this. Everyone deserves a doula, right? Yes, that is so true, but you don't have to be the doula for all of them. There are hundreds, thousands of doulas out there. Adopt an abundance mindset that recognizes there are enough clients for every doula to work as much as they want. Remember this, you're the perfect doula for some clients. Let them be the ones that hire you. And don't worry about insulting clients you don't want to work with. Helping them find a better fit is actually a gift to them. Now, it's so important for you to be you. Be your real self. Years ago, I was talking with a group of doulas, and we were sharing what we wore to an interview. And I said, well, I wear business casual, something nicer than sweats, but way less than a business suit, and never something with a political statement on it, even though I'm really political. I wanted to be neutral. Another doula, my friend Rebecca, said, not me. I wear mismatched socks. My hair's all over the place. I've got holy jeans, and whatever my t-shirt says, whatever. I want my clients to know who I am. Plus, I might be going to a prenatal visit after hanging out with friends, and I don't want to change. So let your freak flag fly. If you don't, you'll be unhappy with your clients, and that leads to burnout. You'll lack authenticity, and that leads to burnout. And your clients won't get their needs met. So how do you find the right clients? You want to be super selective about who you market to. There's something called an ideal client avatar, and it's a super specific persona of who you want to work with. You know their age, where they buy their groceries, where they get their clothes, the books they read, and the music they like. You know where they hang out, their political views, and whether they like dogs or cats. You can even give them a name. If you were to describe your ideal client avatar to someone, they'd say, oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. After a year or so, nearly every doula specializes. They decide they really like VBACs, or working with surrogates, or teen parents, or polyamorous families. It's fine to take time to play the field for a while, to find your niche. But don't sell your soul in the process, or at least figure out its price, just to get a client. Finally, learn what marketing is so you can do it effectively. Trust me, I hated marketing for so many years simply because I didn't know what it was. Now that I'm a marketing expert, I love it. It's fun, it's creative, and it gets you clients. So I sold my soul once. Here's what happened. It was the second year of being a doula, and I was contacted by a woman who was planning a VBAC at home. I wanted a VBAC experience, and I wanted to meet her midwife in hopes that she'd send referrals my way. So at our first visit, I met their son, and they talked about how hard it was finding childcare for him. They were going to need dedicated care for him during the birth, but they didn't really have family or friends they wanted to be in their house at the time of the birth. So they said they were going to look for somebody, but at our next visit, they said they still hadn't found anyone yet. I suggested bringing another doula along, someone they could meet in advance that would be there just for their son, but they never got back to me about it, and I let it slide. And then when labor started, they didn't have anyone for their child, so they asked me to stay with him. And it was awful for both of us. He didn't really know me, and it was awkward trying to play with him while we could both hear his mom moaning upstairs. She needed my support, but I was stuck downstairs playing Legos with a 4-year-old. I had no choice, and I knew I was doing the right thing. I mean, what else could I have done? After the birth, as soon as I got home, I updated my website saying, I don't do childcare. And a few months later, she actually called me to say that she saw that and was offended. But I didn't care. I'd paid my dues, learned my lesson, and it wasn't going to happen again. Mistake number 2, you think all doulas do the same thing. You are probably told to create a doula spiel in your doula training. Even I teach doulas to do that. But you need to know when to use it and when not to. Save it for the coffee shop, the elevator, or the checkout line. When you're meeting with the client, you can expect that they already know a bit about what a doula is and what a doula does. Their knowledge doesn't have to be perfect, but you want them to have a clue. So you could start off a meeting with a general spiel to get warmed up, but never use your spiel to describe what you do for them. Part of what you'll be describing is your scope of practice. There is no one scope of practice. You'll hear a lot about what doulas should and shouldn't do, and there's lots of opinions. Do learn about why the doula role is unique and why certain aspects of it are crucial, but incorporate your own services and your own way of practicing that represent your values, that are ethical, and that lead to client empowerment. The thing is, if all doulas offer the same thing, say the same thing, and look the same, you're not just playing it safe, you're playing it boring. Decide what excites you. What are you exceptional at? What your clients want, and be that or build it. When you stand out from the crowd, you make people notice you. And if you don't, you're unremarkable. Clients can't tell you from the other doulas. You don't get hired, and clients don't get their needs met. What you should really be doing in a consultation is listening to what the clients say and offer whatever they want or need within reason. Doulas work way too hard trying to be everything to everybody. Don't work so hard to provide things your clients don't want or need. Tailor your services to the person in front of you. I recently had a client, June, that was super motivated to have an unmedicated birth. She was reading tons of information on all the chats about natural birth. She had all the stats and details, but she didn't want to learn pain coping strategies, practice positions, or even really talk about what she was going to do in labor. It wasn't that she thought she had great pain tolerance or had life experiences that prepared her for this. She just thought, women have been doing this for ages and my body knows how to do this. Now, while I agree with that to some extent, I also know that for most people, birth is the most painful thing they ever experience in life, and they want to be damn well prepared for it. I let her know that's what my experience showed me, but that didn't motivate her to prepare more. So after worrying if I should push harder in case she blamed me later for not making her be more prepared, I offered some ideas, but she just wasn't interested, so I let it go. The thing was, she didn't want preparation. Her version of preparation was doing what she'd been doing all along. She thought practicing positions when she wasn't in labor was silly, and that she wouldn't really know what to do until she was in it. I had no idea how this birth was going to go. But I realized that what she wanted was someone familiar with birth by her side, someone whose experience she trusted, someone she felt safe with, me. And that was what she needed. She found her way through and she got the support she wanted. Now, when the pandemic came, everything changed. One thing almost every doula believed is that you had to be in person to provide labor support. Not anymore. Suddenly, we were getting very creative. Doulas created new services and new packages. We worked with hospitals to get care provider status, so we'd be considered essential workers allowed in the birth room. We even made up certifications so doulas could get into hospitals that required that. We delivered virtual support from the closet in the middle of the night so we wouldn't wake up the kids. They say necessity is the mother of invention, and that's what we did. I love when we question how things have always been done. That's how we grow. Mistake number 3 is you're afraid of marketing, sales, and money. Now, when you're starting to launch a business, when it's no longer a dream and shit is getting real, a lot of distractions and issues can come up. To weather those challenges, you have to remember why you're doing this. The work is hard, and you'll question your sanity at times. But if you know why you're doing it, that will prepare you through the rough patches. Some of the rough patches have to do with money. Because the majority of doulas are female identified, and the majority of birthing people we work with are also, this work can be undervalued. Women's work has historically been undervalued and underpaid. If you have inner money issues, it's easy to undervalue yourself. So do the work you need on money issues early in your career. If you don't know how, get a book or take my doula business coaching program where you work on money issues and lots of other inner issues that may stand in your way. Because if you don't, the money part of consultations will scare you away. Now, I get why doulas worry about closing a sale. They're afraid to sound salesy. And we don't know how to bring up money conversations proactively because we haven't been taught how to talk about money. Or we think a heart-centered business and money don't mix, which is a lie. It can be helpful to remember that people don't buy a thing, they're actually buying the result of that thing. Nobody hires a doula because they want another person in the room. They're buying safety or comfort or reassurance or a better chance of having a great experience. We don't need to sell clients on our services. Remember, the client was looking for a doula in the first place. The only decision they have to make is if you are the doula for them or not. If you don't learn how to do this well, consultations will always be nerve-wracking. Clients will be confused if you try to sell them things they don't want or they don't know how much you're going to charge for. And you will be frustrated and underpaid. This creates unnecessary tension and clients don't get their needs met. So make it easy on yourself. You need to pre-qualify your clients with clear targeted marketing to your ideal clients, clear explanations of your services and packages, and clearly posting your fees on your website. Practice talking about money. Learn to talk professionally about money. Get it in your head that paying you is an advantage to your clients because they're going to understand your value. Remember that unless you're working as a volunteer, clients expect to pay you. So help them know how to do that. I hated talking about money, so I wrote an article about it and posted it on my website for clients to see. Doing that was very clarifying for me. Later at a client visit, a dad said it sounded like I was complaining because I list all the reasons that I charge for what I do for my services. I didn't get activated by his comment because the exercise of doing that writing had solidified my self-worth for me. And what was funny is that actually activated him. One thing I hope you noticed in each of these mistakes is that if you make them, in all cases, the clients don't get their needs met. These mistakes don't only hurt you, they hurt birthing families. Now, I supported myself as a full-time doula for 15 years. I had a nearly 100% higher rate in my doula career by instinct without even knowing I was using a proven sales tactic until I took that course with Sage. Now I've been a business coach and marketing consultant for 10 years, and I'm also a kick-ass copywriter. I know the world of doulas, and I know the world of marketing. including how to close a sale. The Doula Success Formula combines what I instinctively knew to do with what I've learned as a marketing consultant. And I love sharing what I've learned with doulas. I'm confident it will improve our success rate of getting hired. That's why I'm launching the 2024 cohort of Jumpstart Your Doula Career now. Before we go through each of the 5 steps in the Doula Success Formula and see the rest of the demos, I want to show you how you can launch your doula career. You can get my 9-month doula business coaching program for $200 off and get all the information and support you need for the next 9 months. Now, this course has over 30 training modules and 40 hours of video presentations. I provide step-by-step explanations of business practices and marketing strategies. You get handouts and templates and worksheets, and we have different activities for skill building and tons of resources. The course also offers 2 live Q&A calls a month where we can practice skills, do demos, talk about case studies, and I also offer special live sessions with guest experts. And I also create on-request tutorials for different things that you're learning and need help with. And for everything, there's replays in case you miss any of the live calls. You'll also learn advanced birth and postpartum skills. And we have a Facebook community for questions 24 hours, 7 days a week, sharing successes, learning from each other, and creating ongoing connections. Now, if you've already trained as a doula and you want to focus on growing your business now, you should do it from somebody who knows the birth profession intimately. Because business and marketing strategies are very different for doulas than other businesses. Not all of them, but the ones that are make all the difference. So you need someone who knows both the doula profession and marketing and business strategies. Now, you can get my program for $200 off and get all this information, but the $200 off is only until midnight tomorrow, Pacific time. You see, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about why it's specific for doulas. The most effective marketing strategy involves nurturing the relationship with potential clients. And in the regular business world, we know that this can take months or years in some cases. But when your clients are only pregnant or have a new baby for a short period of time, you don't have months or years. So with the ability to work virtually, what was once a local marketplace has opened up nationally or globally. So you also need to know how to find your target market wherever they are. And then there's nothing like the hours doulas keep. When we think about managing the lifestyle of being a business owner, for doulas, we need to know strategies to manage being on call. So whether you're trying to figure out how to feed pets when you're away, or arrange childcare, or develop backup doula systems, or support your adrenals, you need to know how to navigate that. And most business owners don't know what it's like to be a doula. Plus, it's essential to have excellent self-care practices when you give so much. Building self-care into your practice is that's important as knowing how to do a double hip squeeze. So I help doulas work on their outer and inner self to create the healthiest version of themselves that they can be. And then finally, our doula business has to have healthy financial systems in place. Bank accounts, taxes, insurance, and contracts all have a few twists for the doula practice. So I was going to give you a demo, but we're kind of getting short on time. So you can easily go look on my website and you'll see some of the modules that are in the course. And you can also come back to me if you have more questions about that. So I also want you to know that when you sign up, you'll get these additional bonuses. So I have a live session with finance expert Brenda Hargrove coming up. We're going to discuss the financial planning needs of solopreneurs and self-employed folks and how to plan for your financial well-being. This is going to be a live session that'll cost $150 for the public, but for you, it will be free. I'm also going to have a session with an acupuncturist, Patrice Hapke. Patrice and I have been working together for over 20 years, and we're going to be talking about networking with collaborative care providers. We're going to discuss how to create collaborative relationships with other care providers in your community, who those care providers might be, what to expect from those relationships, and how to nurture them over time. And Patrice is also going to talk about all the benefits of acupuncture in pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. You'll also have complimentary attendance to my copywriting workshop for birth professionals. This is a masterclass in messaging. I'll take you on a deep dive into the world of copywriting. You'll learn what copywriting is and what it isn't, some tips and tricks to write powerful copy for yourself, and what kind of writing you might want to hire or trade with others because it's so darn hard to do for yourself. You'll also have access to my wellness workshop, an on-demand workshop that covers the 4 things that plague doulas the most: a nervous system that's fried from the on-call lifestyle, a money mindset that keeps us in scarcity and repels money instead of attracting it, burnout from work we love because we give all our goodies away and don't know how to keep anything for ourselves, and the vulnerability of being visible in the marketplace, especially if you're an introvert or afraid to toot your own horn. You'll also get free access to any one of my advanced doula trainings of your choice to round out your doula skills. And finally, you'll get an advanced chapter from my upcoming book, Becoming a Birth Doula. This chapter provides an insightful look into the challenges of the perinatal care system and how doulas can address them. So here are the 5 steps. Step number 1, this step is important because knowing what makes you happy will lead to a successful business. You'll be able to define your own success, be able to describe your ideal client in detail so that you understand them, talk to them, know where to find them, and learn what they need. Then you'll know what to say in marketing. You'll identify your unique selling proposition, the one thing that makes you stand out. So if you think the goal is to get lots of clients, any clients, and you aren't selective, you'll burn yourself out. So don't be afraid to stand out. Be visible and toot your own horn. One of my unique differentiators is that my trainings are oriented to social and racial justice. I was the first white doula trainer way back in 2005 to focus on the context of racism as an influence on birth outcomes and to include that in my doula training. I use inclusive language, and I speak to marginalization in healthcare. I try to do all my work through an anti-racism lens, and I'm constantly learning how to be a better anti-racist in the world. Does everyone like that focus? Not at all. But I don't think any course is perfect for all people. Most doula trainings are women-centric, not that I don't love women, white-centric and heterocentric, and that repels a whole lot of folks who don't see themselves represented. I aim to fix that. So my motto is work with who you love and you'll be around a lot longer. Step 2 is crucial to meet clients' needs. You have to learn to ask the right questions to find out what their needs are, find out if they're motivated, find out what they know or don't know about doulas. And you need to know this so you can determine if you can meet their needs. Notice in the demos how people light up when I ask them about how they'll feel a year from now. And then I remind them of that when I suggest my services. If you've been instructed to tell all clients the same things, you miss the opportunity to develop new skills and ideas. Or worse, you offer services that aren't what they want and you don't get hired. Step number 3 translates the value of hiring you. You'll be able to show how your services meet their needs and say the words they said when describing their problems. You'll show them that you were listening and help them see how your services will get them the future they desire. You can be specific and creative. I never offer my services until I know what they need. And step number 4, the money question, this step helps them see your value and make sure that they can afford you. You'll be able to clarify what they'll get from you by translating what you do into what's valuable to them and tell them how much it costs. Now, be sure to talk about how you can solve their problems before you talk about fees. And don't end a consultation without talking about fees. If you're worried during the whole visit about how you're going to talk about money, that energy will creep into the whole visit. So having your fees on your website is so much easier because there won't be any surprises. Nothing is more disappointing for you and your clients than wasting an entire meeting only to find out they can't afford you. One of the things you can demonstrate in your client consultations is that the clients are safe with you. You're taking care of them and making things as comfortable and easy as possible, just like what they want in their birth. Closing the conversation will let people know what to do next. In the closing, you'll be able to find out if they're interested in working with you, find out if they can afford you, and find out if they have further questions. If you did the steps well before, there really should be no surprises at this point. The final steps are how to hire you, how you take payments, when they're due, when they'll receive the contract, or to agree on a follow-up date. So let's look at step number 2 in this video clip, translating one's needs into an offer for our services. In this clip, Darlene has been wanting to be a doula for years and is ready to dive into a doula training. Notice the way I use her words as I go to create an offer that appeals to her goals and desires. I validate what she's hoping to do, and then I connect with her on our shared past of leaving corporate America. So, what I think that I can offer you is the online doula training that I have is an on-demand course, which means you can take it at your own pace. You get to learn kind of as much as you want when you want, so you don't have to go through the course in a certain order. Let's say you meet somebody next week that wants you to be their doula and they're due in 3 weeks and you don't have time to get through the whole course. You can go find the modules that are going to answer the questions you have right away and then come back to the other things later. So that's how you can move through the course. You also mentioned community earlier. And so what's included with the course is access to monthly Q&A calls. So you come to the call, you bring your questions, you hear other people's questions, which I think we learn a lot from what other people are also going through because they might be at different places in the course or in their lives. If you can't attend a call, you can, I record it, you can submit a question in advance and then it gets answered on the call and then you can watch the replay.
Okay.
And I also have a Facebook group that is just for people who are in the course, and you can ask questions there. People can answer questions for you. So it's really about sharing knowledge, celebrating successes, asking questions, you know, a little bitching and moaning if you need to, because that happens sometimes too. But, you know, it's really for people to connect and have more access than the once a month. And I also do offer a kind of VIP package so that you can have some extra group calls or one-on-one calls with me as well, because some people want that more kind of personal one-on-one thing. So my intention, you know, is that that is going to provide the training that you're looking for, all that, all the questions about what's it like for other people and what are different perspectives and what are the things that I don't know to even ask about yet. So providing that, providing the community, giving you time to do that, and you know, helping you get started. And I just remember when I was leaving corporate America and making that transition myself, and that absolute joy that you feel like when you're like, oh my God, I'm doing this. So that's what I would want to be able to bring to you. All right. So in the next video clip, we're going to focus on step number 3, the money question. So Marcus is a former doula student who has been trying to build his father-focused business for a few years. He contacted me for help to grow his business. And in my offer, I'm going to reference what appeals to his goals and desires. And I remind him of the life he wants and how to get it. So based on what we've discussed, kind of the next step is to see if you have any questions and then talk about the cost of my course and kind of go from there. So do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
So the cost of the 9-month coaching program is $997. And when you register, you immediately get access to some of the first online training modules. The live calls, they start next month to a month. And then you also have instant access to the community group. So, I think if you do that, you can, quickly start to figure out better ways to market yourself, how to network and get your name out there more, how to package your services and price them in a couple of different ways that I think might be really appealing to the folks that you're trying to reach. I think that you'll be, when you have those three things combined, you're going to start getting more clients. And then we're also going to work on how do you close sales with those clients, so how do you kind of like do what I'm doing with you here right now? How do we have these conversations and help people see what the value is? Because I want to help you, have that satisfaction and happiness in your life, just like you want your clients to have that when they look back on their birth experience. So, like I said, the cost is $997. Is that what you were expecting?
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. That's what I seen on the website. I was wondering, like, do you offer like a payment plan or something like that so it could be split up? Because that's a lot of money to give out at once. And I know I need to invest so that I can make more money, but it's a lot for me to invest right now. So are you able to work with me in any ways like that? Do you have those
Yeah,
type of
absolutely.
programs available?
Yeah, absolutely. I am all about making my services affordable. Yeah, I have a 9-month payment plan for this course. And what that does is it allows you to actually register and get into the course for $117 for the first monthly payment. And then you have 8 more monthly payments. And it makes it super affordable and allows you to do just what you said, to invest in your own future and get everything that you need to take your business to the next level. And the way I look at it is, if you get one client for more than $997, which I hope you are charging more than that per client, if you make one client in the next 9 months, you have recouped your investment, and everything else after that is pure profit. So, if that sounds doable to you, you can go to my website, or I can put the link in our chat right now, and you can register whenever you're ready.
Well, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, if you could put the link into our chat too, so we can start soon, because I'm really ready to start. I'm very excited, and I can't wait to take this to the next level.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing your registration come through and getting you started.
Thank you very much, Carrie.
You're welcome.
I can't wait to start working with you again.
Good. All right. Have a great evening. So notice that when Marcus asked about an alternate payment plan, I had one ready so he could move forward. And finally, we're going to end back with Alice and Trevor for step number 4, the closing. Because I had done the prior steps well, there weren't any surprises and they didn't have any questions. So I focus on how we're going to follow up and when. I make it really clear what to do next so they feel safe and supported already, even if they don't hire me. So I expect people to spend a little bit of time talking before they make a decision on who they're going to hire as a doula. And I don't know if you're interviewing any other doulas, but do you have a sense of when you might be able to make a decision?
Yeah, we have one other interview in a few days, but we should be able to make a decision by Friday.
Okay, great. Well, I will check in with you on Friday then. And in the meantime, please email me or text or give me a call if you have any questions that I can answer between now and then. Otherwise, I look forward to hearing from you on Friday. That sound good?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was really nice to talk with both of you. Congratulations again on your pregnancy, and I'll be in touch. So remember, if you'd like to see all 4 steps from each of these consultations, Nikki's going to put the link in the chat so you can watch the longer highlight reels. Okay, now you've gotten an overview of how the Doula Success Formula works to get more clients, but there's only so much that I can teach you in 60 minutes, so here's what you can do next. Be sure to read the Doula Success Formula ebook if you haven't already, because like any new skill, you have to practice it. And as you read, you'll discover the Doula Success Formula isn't just about getting you more clients, it's about getting more families' needs met. So the link for the ebook is in the chat. Read through all the steps and read the scripts out loud. Reading them out loud is crucial to teaching your body how to do this. Then practice with friends and family, give it a try and have fun so that it becomes easy for you to use with your clients. Now, if you're not a trained doula yet, but you like what you've heard from me today and are ready to get started, you can join my online birth doula training, Becoming a Birth Doula. The link will be in the chat. And it will be so much easier for you to get your first clients because you've been through this webinar already. But if you're already a doula who wants to learn how to get more clients and everything else you need for a thriving doula business, you can join my Jumpstart Your Doula Career program. So why should you do this now? Because you want to be a doula and you know people need support. You want to change birth for the better and you want to get to birth now. You don't want anyone to go unsupported, and you want to be the perfect doula for just the right clients. Listen, if you don't have clients as a doula, you aren't really doulaing. If you only have 1 or 2 clients, it's hard to feel successful. You aren't making the money you aren't getting the experience you need, and you aren't gaining the confidence you want to fully experience success. So you don't have to wait another month or year and see how it works out. You can get all the information and tools you need for a successful doula career here. You'll get video training modules, the live Q&A calls, templates, forms, and tools. These are both things you can fill out and they're ready-made for you. The Facebook community and all the bonuses, and for $200 off the regular price. And the return on this investment for this course is so easy because all you need is 1 client at the price of the course, and you've instantly made your investment worthwhile. So no matter where you are in your journey, you can start marketing yourself to get the ideal clients for you, start getting hired more often, and get everything you need to be a successful doula so you can start changing birth for the better. If you like what you learned today and want to learn more about how to grow your business or get started as a doula, I'm going to have a live Q&A call next Friday the 9th at noon Pacific time. So if you have follow-up questions besides what we covered today, you'll have access to me. Well, thank you so much for being here. It has been just a fun hour for me. And I hope you all got some benefit and have a